Righty then. MLH here. We're going to be starting the show here in just a minute. Thought I'd get an early jump today. Got some fun comments today to go over. Alright, looks like we are live. I will be looking at your comments during the comment show. A little bit of inception here. Wait for a couple people to get on in, and then we'll get started. Hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. It's going to be a nice one today here in the Mile High City. A little chilly this morning, but it always warms up. What's up, Rich? From the UK, you're first. Pepper, nice to see you. Hope you're having a great day. We'll get started here with a couple more people get on in. Hit that like button, guys. The more people that hit the like button, the more people get on in here. As far as I know, this is the only show on YouTube that takes a look at the comments and, comments on the comments. Yeah. We're going to have some good ones today. I actually had some really thoughtful, really fun comments this week, so we're going to go over those, obviously. Morning. Fab Daddy says he loves the comment show. I like it too, Fab Daddy. It was pretty good. I think it's a pretty good idea of mine. Jonathan, welcome. Nice to have you in here. What's good today? Well, we woke up. That's pretty good, Jonathan, if I don't say so myself, which I just did. So kind of, contradictory. Hit the like button, guys. Wait for a couple more people, then we'll get on in. Hey, Nez Lover, the wonderful artist. What's up, Nez? Nice to have you in chat. If you guys haven't checked out Nez's channel, make sure you check it out. She does a lot of great art. All right. I think we got enough people in here. I think we're good. Let's go ahead and start the show with this. Okay, welcome everybody to the MLH Comment Show. I, of course, am MLH. Nice to have you guys with me on a nice Saturday morning, the 18th of March, 2023. We got some fun comments to go over today, and without further ado, let's just get right into it. Let's start at the bottom here. I always like to go with the oldest comments first, and then go through them. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day. If you're not, just remember the next moment could be better. So, something to look forward to. All right, let's start at the bottom here with Gimmickless News on the last comment show. He said, the game of law is made to suit the rich. How else can you explain how a black man could get away with murdering a white woman in the 90s? O.J. Simpson is a prime example of that in action. It goes beyond race. It goes beyond anything, and it's purely what you said, Gimmickless. It's I hate to say capitalism. I always get crap from a lot of people that rail against me when I quote unquote talk shit about capitalism, but it is kind of true. King Solomon, welcome on in. Nice to have you in here. It's how we're set up, and we're starting to sow the consequences of our actions. There's a saying, kind of a little, thing that talks about end stage capitalism, and I think we're right at the beginning of the end, to be honest. I mean, when 1% holds an entire 99% of the wealth, then that's a huge issue. It didn't used to be that way 30, 40, 50 years ago, so it just gets worse and worse. And, people are struggling. I saw a report on eggs and why eggs are super expensive. And you had every excuse in the book, like avian flu and all this stuff, and it had nothing to do with that. It was manufactured. So a lot of these price hikes that you guys see in the stores is definitely due to just nonsense. Manufactured stuff so that the shareholders of these companies can make a shit ton of money. How many times have you seen a company that makes record profits but yet lays off half of the workforce? It's just happening every day. What's up? What's truth? Dragonette, nice to have you both in here. Welcome to the comment show. Hit the like button if you guys haven't already. That really does help. Honestly, it does. All right. Great comment, Gimmickless. Thank you for the comment. Harrison Wells, or as I like to call him, Harrison Smartass. Well, no, I'm kidding. This is a great comment on the last show. He says, I know why Officer Saxelby is professional and polite to you. He's respecting the elderly. How dare you, Harrison Wells? That's a funny comment, man. Thanks for commenting. I really appreciate it. I think that's the first time I've seen you comment on any of my videos. So thank you very much for commenting, having a little bit of fun there. Nez, who's in chat, always with the awesome emojis. Thank you, Nez. Really appreciate that. Alan B., my good friend Alan B., also from the UK, says MLH and KDOT, great work, and that was for the video. It's going down in Aurora. That's an interesting video. There's more to come. We're going to have a panel coming up soon. I'll give you a preview of that panel in a little bit. Sasquatch, welcome on in, my good friend. Thank you for coming on in. Let's give you a big up. Big up, Alan B. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, Alan. Next comment comes from McDonald on the Sergeant Makes YouTube History. I want to comment real quickly on my thumbnail. I think that's pretty good work. I have a better thumbnail coming up that I'll show you guys, but I'm really proud of my Karen hairdo thumbnail on this. I wish I could edit video to like some of you cats are really good at video editing, and I don't do a lot of video editing, but thumbnails I'm pretty good at it. McDonald says KDOT is funny, and I'm glad you guys confronted that officer. They're called gatekeepers, the people that cover up. The crime here is just that he covers it up. That's something he can't cover, his own behavior. Great work, MLH and KDOT. Stay tuned, McDonald, because there's going to be more on Sergeant Douglas, and I'll, like I said, I will give you an update on a panel that I'm going to be, a special panel that I'm going to be doing very soon. It's wild. I'm telling you guys, it's wild. Pamela Dixon, welcome. Nice to have you in there, all the way from Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome on in. Sorry, MLH, I've been busy with my case and haven't had much time to watch you. Hey, Dragonhead, it's all good. I fully understand. It's not a problem. You got a big, you got to take care of business. You're welcome, Pamela. Like I said, thank you very much for dropping on in. This is the only show of its kind that I know of, comment show, where I take all of your comments throughout the week and I comment on them and acknowledge everybody that puts a comment in the comment section. Ted Hitchcock, I put out a post wondering if there are any Parker or Douglas County, Colorado auditors out there, because I'd really like to talk to you guys. There's something going on out there that I need a little bit of help with. So if you're in the Parker or Douglas County, Colorado area, make sure you hit me up, MexicanLonghair@gmail.com. I could really use your help. Ted Hitchcock, let me get that right, says Parker police are corrupt as hell. You're preaching to the choir, Ted. I know, but I just can't be everywhere all at once. You know what I mean? I can only do certain things, and my plate is completely full right now. So, it's just one of those things where where I just kind of need a little bit of help, Gimmickless again says, wow, I wish more cops would be like that guy in the beginning. It's going down in Aurora. Yeah, it was. I mean, that guy. Okay, so let me tell you a story about that guy. There was a previous video that we had done with Officer Saxelby, the really good police officer. At least as far as I know, I mean, I haven't pulled his file or anything, and maybe I should just to keep him, keep him honest. But Saxelby has always been upstanding and straightforward with case numbers and very friendly. Never had any issues. There's a few officers in Aurora that I know that I'm not going to have an issue with as far as me getting information from them. And there was a time where I saw Saxelby again with this other officer, and I forget his name, but he's a good dude. He's at the beginning of this It's Going Down in Aurora video, which you guys can obviously check out just the beginning and see that that's the way that officers really should handle business. They don't have to give you specifics, but any public information they should be able to speak freely, and this guy did right away. He handed me his card, the case number. Well, actually he handed KDOT, but he also handed me another card too. Just good dude so far. I hope he stays that way. Okay, and then I followed up that video with another one, Problem at Aurora. So let's talk about this video, okay? Johnny Bravo, welcome. Conspiracy Music, my friend, welcome. Nice to have you in here. I was asking Regan about you last week, but she didn't say anything, so good to see you on here. Yeah, I don't hang out with Regan, Pamela. She's got her own issues with Sheridan, and she doesn't have time for me anymore. So, it's all good in the hood. Yeah, we're completely separate entities. She does her thing, I do my thing, and we're it's good. Okay. This video, Problem at Aurora, is an interesting one because it started out really good, right? We went to City Hall to request more records and to get clarification on further records, and to get incomplete records. Like, I paid for records and I didn't get them. And I didn't get all of them, the Sergeant Douglas records, and I wanted clarification on that. The city clerk had no idea of anything. I mean, it's really frustrating, guys. There's a lot of red tape, right, when it comes to records, and that's something that I'm going to vehemently try to change, at least within the city of Aurora. They are purposely hiding stuff. At the end of everything, I'm going to give you a rundown real quick on what the panel is going to be about. We might have that panel today or tomorrow, and it's going to be a banger panel, I promise. Let's see. Seasons change, life goes on, Johnny Bravo says. Exactly. Walter Davis, welcome. Welcome on in. Really appreciate the support today. Okay, so let's go on to Fab Daddy's comment here. He says, I love it when they can't stand cursing. I say fuck them. And I couldn't agree with you more, Fab Daddy. It is a First Amendment right, whether it's tacky or not. Those are, or if it hurts your feelings, you can debate that, or whatever. But one thing you can't debate, that it's definitely protected under the First Amendment. And KDOT never ceases to use that right. But he was really reserved that day for the most part until we got into a situation where we were asking questions and we were just it was really weird. Let me tell you the whole situation so you guys understand, right? I went into City Hall with good intentions. I just wanted to figure out why we weren't getting our records. I had my journalist hat on, and so did KDOT, right? So we went there, and we were talking to the city clerk's office, and they're always really nice in there, even though most times they don't have answers for what we're asking. Like, one of the questions that nobody can answer is, who's the custodian of records? Right? And I'm like, well, you guys should know who's in charge of records in different departments, right? Like, for instance, do you know who the custodian of records for the police is, over at headquarters? Do you know who the FOIA request person is, the custodian of records for FOIA, for body cams, for whatever? And I never get a straight answer. It's like, well, we have it's separate, or we're in transition, or I mean, it's just a bevy of stuff, right? So, city clerk, I had a very specific question about why my files were incomplete for Sergeant Douglas, why Sergeant Cook's evaluation forms were completely redacted. And when I have that panel, I will show you guys those records. It's getting really embarrassing for the city of Aurora. Let me just tell you guys that. So anyways, I'm kind of rambling, and I'm sorry, I just got a lot on my mind. We're sitting, we were referred to the customer service hub, which is right across the way from city clerk's office. So in order to get an appointment with HR to kind of answer our questions. So we head on over there. The lady there was super nice, super cordial, was like, let me call, let's get you an appointment, et cetera, et cetera. Very, very helpful, right? Well, all of a sudden, this woman comes down from HR, right? And she made it very clear that she wasn't sent there. She volunteered to come down to talk to us, which I thought was good, right? And for about 15 minutes, we had this really in-depth conversation about records, and even though she couldn't give me answers, at least she was willing to talk with us, right? And this was just a normal HR person. It wasn't a manager, which KDOT questioned that. He's like, why aren't we talking to a manager? Why are we talking to you? But it took a turn for the weird. So we're sitting there, and I'm actually the more aggressive one when it comes to questioning people, the journalistic aspect of what we do. So I kept probing, right? And I noticed that this lady's demeanor, and you can see her in this video, Problem at Aurora. I kind of zoomed in on her at one point. Chuck Bronson, welcome. I didn't know I was going to get a celebrity in chat. What's up, man? Nice to have you in here. Let's see. Ghost Eagle, welcome. Nice to have you in here as well. Okay, so we're sitting here with this HR lady, and I can tell when I was asking her questions, she was okay, even though I was more aggressive in my line of questioning than KDOT was. But every time KDOT asked her a question, she bristled, and she didn't like when KDOT was talking with her. And KDOT was calmer than I was when we were talking, and obviously we weren't recording. My purpose wasn't to record that day. My purpose was simply to get answers and get to the bottom of a couple of burning questions that I had about records and whatnot. But this lady you could tell she was increasingly getting aggravated. Howard County, welcome. Nice to have you in here. 357, welcome. Nice to have you in here as well. I really appreciate all the support. Let's see. So, anyways, this lady was just getting increasingly aggravated that KDOT was asking her stuff, and he was super calm. I'm I know KDOT is my friend, and people will say I'm biased, especially bootlickers will say, you're super biased. KDOT is always aggressive, and it's not the case. All right, I know KDOT. He is a really good friend of mine, but he normally, all right, 99% of the time will just be calm and listen until something pisses him off, right? Well, she said something that was really extraordinary, and I really wish I had it on camera. So, but I didn't. All right. So I was sitting there, and KDOT was asking her a couple questions here and there, and she was increasingly getting aggravated, I could tell. And then she's told KDOT, she looked at KDOT, and she says, "You're being really unprofessional. He's a lot more professional than you are being right now." And I actually was floored. And it was the first time I had ever heard anybody call KDOT unprofessional. And during that whole time, I promise you guys, KDOT was being calm, cool, even less aggressive in his line of questioning than I was. So what was the difference? I mean, I'm sitting here giving the hard-hitting questions, right? Like, why are these things redacted? And I'm following up with, why can't anybody tell me who the custodian of records are? I mean, just stuff like that. But I wasn't aggressive. Like, I was aggressive, but it was a calm, like we were having a cordial back and forth, right? But all of a sudden she says that to KDOT, and I was like, I told her, I said, he's been way less aggressive in his line of questioning than I am. Why are you calling him unprofessional? And then as I was saying that, guys, I kid you not, she had a mug in her hand, and KDOT noticed that it had the Thin Blue Line flag on it. And he's like, oh, I can see you have the Thin Blue Line Gang sign on your mug there. And boy, oh boy, that ended everything. From that point forward, she was super pissed. She goes, you guys aren't going to bash the police in front of me. I have family that is police. And I was like, well, herein lies the problem. Herein lies a big problem. And so things like kind of escalated from there. And she goes, I want you guys to leave. And then I was like, I looked at KDOT and I looked at her and I was like, well, you could want that all you want, but this is a public building. And still, we're both very calm, And then that's when KDOT was like, I really don't give a fuck about, that Thin Blue Line and all this. And then she just got up and she goes, I need you guys to leave. And I was like, well, we ain't leaving. This is a public place. We're allowed to be here. So she left, and I'm like, KDOT, let's go, because I know she's going to go talk to security. Let's not go out of the building. Let's go record. So that's when we got our cameras out, and that's where this video problem at Aurora started. And then KDOT also has his perspective on his channel, so make sure you guys check that out. David Hughes, welcome. Nice to have you in here as well. Yeah, assertive with your words was all Johnny Bravo says. She knew you guys were who you guys were, then that's why she treated you like that. Yeah, I mean, Johnny Bravo, everybody knows who we are when we go to Aurora, Denver, the Denver metro area, like I mean, you know how it goes. So so then that's where the video picks up, and you can see the security guards being jackasses. I think I condensed that video down, and I called it like Beavis and Butthead kick us out, and I'm really proud of that thumbnail as well. We'll get to that in a minute. Next comment, same video. Big MD says, those two security guards look like characters from Saturday Night Live. I mean, you guys got to check out that short and condensed video if you don't want to watch the whole live, because they were being ridiculous. Strictly Strange says, Tweedledee and Tweedledum is no match for the dynamic duo. Adventures of MLH and KDOT has commenced. Well, it's been commenced for a long time, Strictly Strange. Like, we've known each other for a long time. So, Smeghead says, it's always a short man with a Napoleon complex, one emo who styles himself on a Chomo wanted leaflet, and Donald Trump's long-lost brother. You guys got to check out the video, because that's a pretty apt description as well. I think we did a decent job with those security guards, put them in place. They didn't call the cops, by the way, because they knew how it would end, and the KDOT pointed that out as well. Let's see. What's up, Transparency Time? Welcome on in. Nice to have you in here. I saw that Beavis and Butthead vid. Yeah, it was, I mean, that's a short part of the live, King Solomon. If you want to see full context, make sure you check out that live. Had to pull the family police card, 357. Oh, yeah. I mean, it is what it is, right? 357, they have to do those type of things to make themselves feel better. I didn't care at that point. What she said with KDOT was really appalling to me. She told him he was being unprofessional, and I'm like, why? Because he's asking you questions? I mean, whatever. Pelon on the same video said, stupid security is great work. MLH and KDOT, keep up the great work. Thanks, Pelon. Hope you're doing okay. Hope everybody's having a great day today on a Saturday. NF says they have all these public record laws and acts, but they won't hand the stuff over. NF, you're going to want to tune in to the panel that I'm going to have with KDOT and Ellie at some point, because it's absolutely extraordinary. It's extraordinary for so many different reasons, and we're basically doing an expose on not only the hiring process, but the records. I mean, what it takes to get records, and I have a feeling it's going to go to the lawyers. But we'll discuss it on panel. Harry Nova on the same video says, KDOT and MLH, what's up? What's up, Harry Nova? Nice to have you in the comments as always. Jonathan, who's in chat on my Beavis and Butthead video, says, tyrants do not like facts. No, they don't, Jonathan. That's completely true. Oh, you saw the live too, King Solomon. Right on, man. Appreciate that. Okay. Let's move on here. Same video, the Beavis and Butthead one. Do you guys like my thumbnail? My awesome thumbnail of Beavis and Butthead? I thought it was pretty cool. They look like Beavis and Butthead to me. That's why I came up with that. Lois Holland says, support from Texas. Thank you, Lois. Really appreciate the support. Harry Novis on the same video says, these guys are full of it, MLH. They sure are. KDOT encountered the younger emo security guard on a previous video. I can't remember what that one's entitled, but he labeled himself a true security guard. So that's a banger video if you guys get a chance to watch that on KDOT's channel. If you're not subbed to... Oh, NF, I didn't see you in chat. Welcome into chat. Nice to have you in here as well. Great thumbnail. Transparency time. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good, man. I don't normally toot my own horn when it comes to much of anything, but I was pretty proud of that thumbnail. I think it's my best work to date. Matthew says, the emo nerd says he's proud to be an a-hole, and his sidekick said he is probably number 2. In other words, they are Mr. Poop Shoot and Mr. Turd Ferguson. I missed a really... I don't normally like to rewatch my work, but in this case I did. Sometimes you watch while you edit a little bit. I try to do less editing than everybody else. I know a lot of auditors and 1A people and stuff of that nature like to chop up their videos to make themselves look better, the cops look worse, whatever. I don't like to do that. I like to give you guys full context. I did a little tiny bit of editing in this video just to cut out dead air, because there was portions that nothing happened. So that was the only editing that I did on that video, but yeah, I missed a great opportunity when he said he was number 2. And I thought about it. Now, if I would have had a second, I would have been like, yeah, you got that right. You're number 2, all right. Let's see. Keeper of the list. Oh, look at that. Matthew the King received one of the highest numbers of hearts from me. So you get that special little thing, I guess. The little heart next to your name, I guess. I don't know. Keeper of the list says, fight, fight, fight. Yeah. I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter, Keeper. Although, it depends on how you look at fighting. Same video, Joe Cool says, and I this is a cool comment, and I want to talk about this for a second. Says, gonna advise you like I do, KDOT, start going static, please. The improved quality will extend the reach of your message. You know what? Normally we do... One of us will do static and one of us will do live when we're together, Joe Cool. But this was important, I think, for both of us to go live because I thought it was really going down. That lady seemed like she wanted to call the cops, and anytime cops are involved or a chance cops are involved, it's always nice to have 2 live angles. And I know the signal inside City Hall isn't the greatest, but I didn't think that video was too bad. But yeah, good point, Joe Cool. I appreciate the feedback. Thanks for the tip. That's what I'll put. All right. Unindoctrinated on the same video says they really should do something about ignorant security in public buildings. 99% of the time they make things worse. Totally true. I don't even know why they even have security in that building, to be honest. They're pretty worthless. There's nothing, nobody goes in there causing a ruckus. It's usually super chill and calm. Standing Tall, welcome. Greetings and salutations from behind the Wasatch curtain. I try to cut dead air out and my foul mouth is all. Yeah, I mean, you know, the community comments are pretty dagnab awesome, 357 says. Jonathan says they still won't open my bank account back up. I don't know. What? You're having problems with that? What's going on there, Jonathan? It's really weird. Thumbnail spot on. Yeah, I thought so too, man. It was pretty cool little thumbnail. Oh, Matthew. Speaking of Matthew, he's in here. What's up, Matthew? Nice to have you in here. Hit that thumbs up button if you guys haven't already. Gets more people in here. Jen Wow gave me a heart. Thank you very much, Jen. Really appreciate you. Transparency time. Who's in chat says MLH, tell Mr. K. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful on his premiere, just stating my opinion. It seems like he got offended by my opinion, and tell him I apologize if you didn't like my opinion. I will tell him transparency time. I don't know what happened. I'm not the keeper of K.'s comments and stuff like that. I was in that premiere for just a minute. I had other stuff to do, but I'll make sure and let him know. No worries. I think he's got a thicker skin than most. So I think you're okay. Transparency time. Benny May says Reno 911 looking dude with the porno glasses is a jam. Yeah, like I said, you guys got to check out. I can't remember which video it was, but he's been featured on another of K.'s videos, and I don't remember what it was, but he proclaimed himself a true security guard in that video, which kind of made him famous at the time. So, all right, George Rogers, who saw my one of my most famous videos, the Chatio video. Aurora Library employee has a meltdown. I told DMA a long time ago that Chad was working at the Walmart over on 102nd and Grant and Thornton, and he acted the same way over there, but I haven't seen him in there in a long time. But I was walking by him and told my wife that's Chad that freaked out, and he got all mad and said F you. Really? He told you? Wow. Well, I mean, George, look, that dude has issues, and I didn't like the way that DMA tried to exploit him even further and kind of like followed him around and stuff like that. That guy needs help. He's a loose cannon and he could hurt somebody. So I would advise anybody that sees Chatio and out in the wild in the Denver area, just leave him alone. He's like, he's a loose cannon. Like, he could literally hurt you guys. I mean, you saw in that video, I still to this day have a small piece of plastic from that water bottle. So, just be careful is what I'm saying. He needs mental help. He really does. Sorry for coming in so many times. George, you're more than welcome to comment as much as you want, man. I encourage it. I'm watching your video again, and I had to go over 2 more times just to check it out. But what's crazy sitting here watching it as I'm watching it, you notice how calm, damn, he looks through your camera. It looks like he's just so fucking calm. Dude's back at it again, acting crazy old Chad. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you never know when somebody's going to snap. So I would highly recommend just leaving that dude alone. And if you know where he's working, just leave him alone. I don't want any harm coming to even Chatio. So just, chill, tell the cops to bow down. Next time I do that, next time I see some cops acting like that, King Solomon, I'll tell him that. Joe Cole is my YouTube husband. I like Joe Cole a lot, Pamela. We've hung out several times. He's anytime he's in town, he'll give me a ring, or I'll give him a ring, and see if he wants to go do something. And the last couple of times he's been here, nothing really has went down. So George Rogers again. Final comment of the day says, "Hell yeah, he's the one dude with that's always wearing the glasses, and his hair's just like that Reno 911 guy. Yeah, that guy is going to be famous from this video, no doubt, and also KDOT's previous video, George. So really do appreciate the support and watching the videos. It always helps. Let's see if we got any held for review comments. Those ones are always fun, aren't they? Yeah, there is one. All right. Capmandu says cops do not work for the public. They work for Satan's asshole, government, and big corporations, all for revenue and to fill up the jails and prisons again for revenue, big money. In doing so, they are allowed to rape, take, and murder anyone they choose. There's no such thing as a good cop. That's almost true, Capmandu. I think there are a few, but I do appreciate your comment. Here's my feelings on that whole matter, Capmandu. I think there are a lot of cops that go into the academy with good intentions, but they come out rotten at the other side of their training. The problem is training, and the senior leadership is always teaching the wrong message, right? And none of them have empathy or morals. I think that's the real issue. But that's something to really, really focus on in the future, and that's the only way things are going to get trained. If I had my way, I had a meeting the other day with some community leaders, and one guy was a former cop. He's a lot older, and he's got some stories and stuff, but I made, and he kind of bristled at it, and I said what we should do is we should start from scratch, because everybody that's in the force now has had some sort of bad influence on them. Whether or not they act on that bad influence is up for debate. I happen to think that probably 95% of all cops are bad, so you're not far off, Capmandu. I think the other 5% are just stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they can't act on anything that they see that's going wrong, which in essence kind of makes them bad too. But the problem is if you're a whistleblower, you're looked down upon because of the thin blue line. So my suggestion was to start over. We need to fire all these old cats. Whether or not we give them the pension or whatever, let them go. Have their cake and eat it too, and go off and into the sunset and enjoy their Mai Tais on the beaches of fucking Guam for all I care. I want to start over. I want to start fresh with training, new people. We need to restructure the pay. We need to get back to how it was back in the day, where it was a dangerous job. See, now it's not as dangerous because they can shoot without penalty, right? So we've got to get back to those days where the job is a lot more dangerous. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but in reality, that's the way it should be. Cops walking the beat instead of just always being in their cruisers. You walk and you talk to the community instead of like treating everybody like they're the enemy. That's the problem. When they first get into the academy, they treat everybody like we are the absolute enemy, and it shouldn't be that way. We are all should be treated with respect, and then if there's a problem, if there's an actual law that's not being adhered to, that's where they come in, because they are law enforcement, right? They can't go by feelings all the time. They can't, just pull out their guns immediately and, think that anything good is going to happen from that. I mean, it's just ridiculous to have that mentality. We also need background checks on a lot of these officers. We need psych evals. I would say every 6 months, because that job is hard. There's no doubt about it. They do see a lot more than the average citizen when it comes to death and dismemberment and accidents and just all kinds of just really horrific things that they could see on a day-to-day basis. It's just, I mean, we've got to support, but we also have to start fresh and understand that this job is hard. This job is not safe, but not everybody's your enemy. The general public is not your enemy. Matter of fact, we should all be on the same page. nobody in the community wants to see crime, right? I mean, nobody in the community wants to be stolen from. Nobody wants to be raped, murdered. All these things, these are all true. But that doesn't mean everybody is a suspect. Everybody is bad. Everybody is, not everybody is awful. So there's lots of problems that we can solve, but it's going to take a lot of work. Trust me. And I'm working on something that I believe is kind of major, and it's transparency. Most people talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. And behind the scenes, I'm working very, very hard to expose the inner workings of transparency and why they're obfuscating it. And it's really weird. The next panel we have is going to be very interesting. Trust me on that. Let me go through comments here. I missed some, and I don't want to miss your comments. I love watching his videos. Joe Cool's videos, Pamela says. Yeah, I do too. Good cops are like leprechauns, Matthew says. They are. Leadership of the police department dictates how the officers behave, Walter Davis says. Yep. Johnny Bravo, MLH and KDOT, I would like to get a hold of you guys through email. Johnny Bravo, anytime, man. My email is mexicanlonghair@gmail.com. Pretty simple. KDOT's is, I think it's on his about section, but I believe it's kdotcopwatch@gmail.com. Pretty simple to get a hold of us, Johnny Bravo, no problem. Transparency Time says they don't want to go against the thick blue line. Anybody seen the movie Serpico? Yes, transparency. That's why starting over is imperative. We got to get rid of the gang mentality. And if you guys don't think that, for all the bootlickers listening, and I say bootlickers because you can become a non-bootlicker. If you guys just think about things, there was a big report out of Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department is made up of different types of gangs. And if you don't play by their rules, they'll do things like put dead animals on your doorstep. I mean, they're terrible in Los Angeles. But that mentality is clear across the board. I mean, no matter where you go, they can never apologize for anything. They can never admit guilt. And this is why I think taking cases, like civil cases all the way and not settling out of court, KDOT and I have talked about this extensively. I want the next auditor that has a civil case against them, like in other words, if they get arrested illegally or something of that nature, and they get the charges dropped and then they file a civil lawsuit, I want them to take it all the way to trial. I'm tired of these guys like just taking the money and running. That's another big difference between a lot of auditors and myself and KDOT. KDOT said the only way that he would settle a case is if they admit guilt and they change policy. And that's the only way that I would accept a plea, or not plea. I won't never plea like on criminal charges, but like a settlement. I won't take a settlement unless those things happen. If I get arrested illegally, charges get dropped, and I have a civil case going forward, I'm taking it to trial. I don't give a shit what the lawyer says, unless they can admit guilt and change policy. Those are the only exceptions. Transparency Time says they don't want to go against thick blue. Okay, I already said that. Serpico Frank, they killed the good cop that stood up. Yep. That job truly has never been dangerous. Standing tall, that's not exactly true. When they didn't pull a gun every 5 seconds, it actually is a little dangerous if you think about it. But that's part of the job, and that's why they get paid what they get paid. But the pay structure has to change too. I mean, Sergeant Douglas sitting behind a desk is making base pay $140,000 a year, and that doesn't include overtime and all their benefits, the pensions, all that stuff. And that's a huge, $140,000 to sit at a desk, apparently overseeing records that he should have no business touching. It's just ridiculous. get back to community policing. I'm with that transparency time. I mean, it's worked over and over in different places. Like I think it was Camden, New Jersey, where they just got rid of police completely and they went to a community policing model, and it worked fine. The crime rate went way down. There was, I mean, there still was crime, but it was just way down. The job is dangerous to keep it bad apples, no good apples, or you'll get Serpico. Yeah. No bias allowed, Howard County said. Standing tall, yeah, depending on where it can be extremely dangerous. Johnny Bravo, that's what makes it dangerous is the gang mentality inside the departments. That's a good point, Johnny Bravo. Pepper says, rumor has it the mustachioed is training cops gumshoe skills 101 at police academies now. I wouldn't be surprised, Pepper. And I did hear the mustachio is going to be making his return pretty soon, too. Don't exactly know who his target is. I'm working on that, Pepper. I think I have a good idea, though. King Solomon says, psych eval for sure. Where's the mustachio? That's a good question, King Solomon. I don't know is the answer. It was over 30 years ago that I started fighting structure fires. I worked in the oil and field and coal mines. Law enforcement has never made the top 10 dangerous jobs. Never. That's true. There are way more dangerous jobs. Working construction is more dangerous. Oil drilling, getting crabs. Not getting crabs sexually, but you know what I'm saying. Catching them. Let's see. Los Angeles Sheriff Department just elected a new sheriff, and hopefully he can clean that mess up. Transparency time. He's got a big task ahead of him. Transparency time. Big task. My son was first seen at the house fires and twice pulled people out. Ended up at the hospital for it. Almost got fired. Yeah, you see, they don't want you being heroes. Buenos tardes, Liguer. Nice to have you in here. Doing well. Hope you're doing good. You typed in chat but blocked your message. Yeah. Take a settlement. Matter of fact, Matthew, I'm going to do something here. There you go. You shouldn't have any more problems, Matthew. Take a settlement and get enough money to put thousands to attorney for a retainer to take it all the way next time. That's one tactic, Johnny. I mean, I think you should just take it all the way. I mean, even from the first one. I have never been arrested, Johnny. If I do get arrested unlawfully, they drop the charges, I'm going all the way, period. He has to protect fire department from gang members shooting at firemen because one gang was burning out another gang's house. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, catching crabs of any kind is dangerous. Crab fishing, yeah, that's what I meant. Transparency time. Bering Sea, that's probably the most dangerous job. Having said that, I refuse to back up other cops on his force for being assholes and getting charged. Well, he's teetering, Walter. I hope things work out for him. 357, I like to believe most people going into law enforcement have a good heart and good intentions, but once you're in, it's too late. Good point. I think I made that point earlier, 350. Let's see if we got any hidden comments with bad words here, guys. Yes, I want to show those to my audience because they can handle it. Transparency time, who's in the chat, says both of them are morons thinking they're better than everybody else because they're rent-a-cop pigs. Rent-a-pigs. I like to think of them as rent-a-cop roach. Rent-a-roaches. That's what they are. Thank you very much, Transparency Time. I'm obviously going to approve that. I think the morons is what caused that to be put in the hidden comments, but I'm definitely going to approve that because morons is pretty benign. So let's see. Okay. Show hidden comments. We're good. I don't think there's any more. Yep. Okay. Now let's go to mentions. Let's see who mentioned me in the past week. Harry Nuts, my good friend, said that I was live in Denver. Thank you very much. K-Dot mentioned me in his video. Holding Sergeant Douglas accountable. You guys got to definitely check that out. And TN also mentioned me. Here's the deal. Let's see what... this was on his post. And Horizon City mention me as well. So thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to mention my channel. Really appreciate it. Let's go back here, make sure all the comments are done. They are. Okay, let me talk real quickly, guys, about the panel. The panel I quickly mentioned was going to be about a bunch of things, transparency being one of them, redacted records, laws, specifically here to Colorado, and what we're doing to try to change this. I have a really good feeling, guys, that we're going to have to go to court on making... Let me ask you guys this question. I want you guys to type a 1 for yes and a 2 for no. Do you guys think that officer evaluation forms should be open to the public? Let's get a count here. Hey, Johnny Bravo, you're in the Denver area, bro. I could definitely use you if you want to be in the movie. For sure. I'll talk about that in a second too. No problem, Matthew. You deserve it, bud, man. You've been here a long time. Let's see. Yes, Johnny Bravo for sure. Okay, so everybody's saying 1. I agree. So here's the issue, guys. I'll speak briefly on it, and we'll go into way more detail with with the receipts, because I always bring receipts when I do these panels. I very rarely do panels because I don't like the possibility of porn bombs and all that shit. But I'm gonna have a closed panel, and it's gonna be with KDOT and with Ellie. We've I'm gonna say we, but mostly Ellie did the heavy lifting on looking at the details of these files. But we put our heads together and have found a lot of inconsistencies in the way that the Aurora Police Department does their evaluations. There's multiple errors. There's a lot of copying and pasting. There's a lot of personal opinion that's interjected into these evaluations that really has no value. And I don't understand why. And if that sounds weird on an evaluation, just trust me when I show you guys. You guys will understand. I'm in Denver also, MLH. Hey, David Hughes, if anybody wants to act in the movie, I have plenty of uses, and I could use help. I should be filming in May or June. I need to find some actors. So if you're interested in acting in the movie, I need, everything ranges from women to men to a couple of kids that I need. And I'll definitely put a post with everything that I need. If you're in the Denver area, I could definitely use your help. If you're not into acting, you don't want to be in front of the camera, maybe you can help me behind the camera. I'm looking for a second director to kind of help me, like an assistant director. I'm also going to be the director of the movie, but there are times when I'm going to be in front of the camera, and I'm going to need somebody to yell action and cut and stuff like that. So if you're interested in help me out, mexicanlonghair@gmail.com. I really could use it, and I'm looking at a anywhere between a 2 and 4 week shoot, so it's not going to be too much out of your time. I don't have much in the way of payment other than I will provide food. So if you're hungry while we're on set, and I say on set, and it's going to be, if you have a house that you can provide to shoot the movie, I could really use that. That's 2 things. I need 2 separate houses to shoot the movie. So if you're willing to give up the time, I know it's kind of an inconvenience, but I will try to be as inobtrusive as possible. It would be fantastic. And like I said, it's only going to be a 2 to 4 week shoot, starting in either May or June, when the weather gets nicer. And it should be a pretty smooth process. I've broken down everything into interior and exterior shoots and stuff like that. So there you go. Mom, welcome. Mom's welcome. Mom's welcome. Mom's wholesome. I didn't even see you sneak in there. Welcome on in. Been wondering where Ellie has been. She's done a lot for Regan and others. She's been around, Pamela. She was sick in the hospital for a good time with some kidney issues, but she's doing a little bit better. So, okay. So that's pretty much what I have for you guys. The agenda for next week is as follows. I don't know if it's going to be today or tomorrow, but we are going to have that panel. You guys are going to want to make sure to join that one, because it's going to be really extensive and in depth on a lot of the bullshit that's going on in Aurora. And I'm going to we all collectively are going to expose them for who they are. Here's the long and skinny of it, guys. They're no longer going to give me records that aren't redacted as far as the evaluation forms are concerned. And if ever there was something to be transparent with, it would be evaluation forms. So I don't understand why the city is taking the stance that they're not going to show us those evaluation forms. Here's a real quick preview. I've got a message attached with some statutes, which the statutes do not say what they're saying, but they're saying that pursuant to these statutes that they made a mistake in giving me Officer Douglas's eval forms. And we'll go over it in the panel. Trust me, it's going to be a really good panel, a very enlightening panel. Sergeant Cook's evaluation forms were completely redacted, so the lawyers got involved. And they think that they're going to beat this, but I've been doing extensive research on the statutes, and if I were to take this to court, which that's kind of the way that it's heading, I'm going to win. And I'm going to make it easier for all of you guys to see these corrupt officers' eval forms. And based on what I saw from Sergeant Douglas, you can tell that there is going to be a treasure trove of information that is extensively going to show the corruption within the Aurora Police Department. So you got that to look forward to. All right, guys and gals, I hope you guys have a great week. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any homeless outreach this week. I've got a lot on my plate. I always love to do that. That's one of the things I look forward to the most, but I've got a lot of homework to do. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing that anytime soon. At least this week anyways, but I hope to get back to doing that pretty soon. Cop watching videos, it depends on KDOT's schedule. I like to go with KDOT just to have strength in a couple of people, not, go out there by myself all the time, but if, sometimes I will. So I don't know as far as this week if I'm going to be doing any specific cop watching. You never know. Just check those notifications. If you're not getting the notifications, unsub and resub. Sometimes that helps. Make sure you hit that bell, all that stuff. But, that's how it is. But they are trying to cover their own butt, no doubt. I was looking for a video I made a year ago. It was about my fights with cops in courts. I didn't find it, but suffice to say I fought the law, been to jail, and in the end won. Yeah, that's how you have to do it, Walter. Sometimes, it's getting warmer every day here in Denver. It sure is, Johnny. Sure is. All right, Blue Unicorn, you came in at the very end. Really appreciate you being on in here. But thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I haven't been doing my mental health speech, so let me go ahead and do that. If you guys are struggling with your mental health, please reach out to somebody that you know, love, and trust. In lieu of that, my email is mexicanlonghair@gmail.com. I'm not a counselor or a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but I do listen, and sometimes that's all that matters. But if you can't wait for me to get back with you, just remember, somebody out there thinks you're their favorite. Hold on to that thought. It could save your life. There is a mental health number that you can call here in the United States. That number is 988. And if you're uncomfortable with talking with someone, you most certainly can message that number, and somebody will text with you back and forth and hopefully get you past whatever issues that you're going through. And the final thing I'm going to say today, be kind to others, be kind to family, but most importantly, be kind to yourself. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care. See you on the next one.